Lesson 1. Know your monologue inside and out. First of all, let me say something that might surprise you. The fear doesn't come from the stage and performing it. It comes from uncertainty. If you walk on stage hoping that you'll remember every line from the monologue, you've already lost half the battle. But when you know your monologue, when it becomes more than words, when it becomes a muscle memory like breathing, then that changes everything. You stop worrying and feeling self-conscious, and you stop being afraid. And this allows you to start living in the performance. So don't just memorize it. Internalize it. Understand who you're talking to and why. What is it that you want from them? Why does every line matter? When every word feels like it simply has to be said, you can't keep it in, then you stop performing it and you start living it. And that's when the monologue stops being a script, and that's when the fear turns into joy. The joy of performing. Lesson 2. Rehearse out loud a lot. Now this one's huge. Are you reading the monologue silently in your head? Well, that's not rehearsal. That's memorization. Silent reading only tricks your brain into thinking you're prepared. And this is why you will stumble the second you're on your feet. A real rehearsal happens out loud. In your bedroom, in the kitchen while making toast, in the car with the windows up, or down if you're feeling adventurous. Why? Well, because saying it in different environments builds flexibility. If you've only ever done your monologue in a quiet room, then a creaky stage or a cough from the audience will throw you off. But if you've spoken those words everywhere, with loads of distractions, birds, dogs, people wanting to get your attention, then you'll be solid and unshakable on the night of saying it, because nothing can put you off. Lesson 3. Find the emotional core. Here's where the magic really begins. Because a monologue, it's not just a speech. It's a confession, a revelation, a battle cry. It's a moment when your character is saying, this is what I feel. This is what I need. This is who I am. And if you don't feel it, then neither will the audience. So ask yourself, what is it that's driving this moment? Is it love, barely held together? Is it rage, trying not to explode? Is it desperation, hope, guilt, pride? Whatever it is, find it, name it, and then let that live in you. But don't try to perform the emotion. It's that pressure that creates fear. The pressure of having to find that emotion and show it out there. Instead, tap into it. Let the emotion rise naturally from the words, from the stakes, from the moment that your character finds themselves in. Because when you find that emotional core, your monologue will run as smooth as butter. And then you will feel like the proverbial cat that has the cream. Lesson 4. Embrace the nerves. Let's just say it. Nerves suck. Your hands shake, your stomach flips, your brain starts writing disaster stories in your head. You think that if I were a real actor, then I wouldn't feel like this. But that's just not true. Every actor, yes, even the pros, get nervous. Why? Because they care. Because it matters. The fear is not a flaw. It's perfectly natural. It's your body saying, hey, we're about to do something big. So instead of trying to shut the nerves out, the pros know it's far better to shift how your brain reacts to them. That racing heart, it's free energy. That adrenaline, it's focus. Your brain is getting you ready to perform. And the more you prepare, like you're doing right now, the more those nerves transform. They don't disappear completely, but they do stop being this huge monster in your chest and start becoming momentum. Now, no actor is fearless. You just need to understand that fear, it doesn't mean that you're not ready. It means you're right on the edge of something exciting. Lesson 5. Breathe like a pro. When panic hits, breathing is the first thing to go. Suddenly, you're up on the stage, your chest feels tight, your mouth is dry, and your brain is telling you to run. But here's the thing. You can control everything with your breath. Your breath is your remote control. When your breathing is shallow, your body thinks that you're in danger. It shifts into survival mode. But deep, steady breathing tells your brain, yep, we're okay, we've got this. And once your brain hears that, everything else starts to calm down. Believe me, it works. So here's a simple trick. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Do that 3 times before you step onto the stage. Not only does it calm your body, it gives your mind something to focus on. A pattern, a rhythm, a pause before the spotlight hits. And when you own your breath, you take back control. You're not just reacting to nerves, you're guiding them, like a steady hand on the wheel. It's not magic, it's just practice, but it does work. Breathing can control your body, and that controls the nerves. Every single time. Lesson 6. Visualize success. When we are nervous, our brains have this frustrating habit of imagining everything going wrong. We picture ourselves forgetting lines, stumbling over words, freezing in the spotlight. And the more we replay that disaster in our heads, the more real it feels, until we begin to believe that it's inevitable. But here's the thing. The brain doesn't always know the difference between imagination and reality. That's why your heart races during a scary movie. Even though, and you know this, you're just sitting on the sofa with snacks. Your mind reacts to what it sees, even if it isn't real. And you can use that. Instead of running mental horror films about everything that could go wrong, give yourself a positive highlight reel. Try this before walking onto the stage. Close your eyes and then mentally see yourself walking confidently out onto the stage. Hear yourself delivering every line with power and purpose. Feel the stillness in the room. The audience leaning in. The audience applauding at the end. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a mental rehearsal. And a mental rehearsal builds a sense of safety and familiarity that your brain can lean on when the real moment comes. Lesson 7. The first line is everything. Standing in the wings, there's this pressure cooker moment right before you begin. You step onto the stage, heart thumping, mouth dry, and your instinct is to rush, just to get the first line out, get it over with. But when you do that, it often comes out too fast, too flat, and you miss your footing even before you've begun. But here's the secret. The silence before your first line, that's not empty space. That's power. That moment, it belongs to you. And if you pause just for a breath, you shift the energy in the room. You tell the audience, I'm here. Something is about to happen. So instead of launching in like an athlete getting away from the blocks, simply arrive. Stand in your character. Feel the space. Then, when you're ready, when the moment feels full, deliver that first line with intention. It tells you how to continue. It floods your body full of confidence. Lesson 8. Stay in the moment. Now, you've started. You're into the monologue, and then, bam, a word slips, a line vanishes. You feel your stomach twist and turn, and your brain screams, oh, you've ruined it. That fear hits, and it screams at you. It screams, that one mistake will ruin everything. But the truth is, the audience has no idea what you were supposed to say or do. They don't have the script. They're not sitting there with a checklist. They're just watching a story unfold. It sets the tone. It tells the audience how to listen. And if you keep going like nothing happened, they'll never know. So when something goes sideways, and at some point it probably will, don't let the panic take over. Stay connected to what your character is feeling. Keep your eyes in the moment and let your body stay grounded. Because performing isn't about being flawless. It's about staying honest, no matter what. Now that is what makes a performance powerful. That's what turns a slip into something real. Something you can use. Something the audience can connect with. Lesson 9. Use your body. When nerves hit, your body panics. You shrink. You freeze, and without realizing it, you shift your weight backwards, like you're bracing to run. And that tiny posture change tells your brain, we are not safe, we shouldn't be here. And just like that, your fear grows. But what if one small shift could flip that switch? Well, try this. Lean ever so slightly up onto the balls of your feet, just a nudge forward. That small shift tells your body you're ready. It tells your brain you've got this. And the wild part? Your brain totally believes you. It begins to release endorphins. Then your mood lifts, and suddenly you're not bracing to run. You're confidently stepping into the moment. So stand tall, take space, and let your body lead with intention. Because when your body says, I belong here, your mind follows. And so will the confidence. Lesson 10. Eye contact without the fear. Let's be honest. People think when you do a monologue, you have to look into the audience. But looking people in the eye when you're terrified, that's a big ask. And guess what? You don't have to do it. Locking eyes with someone in the audience, well, that can throw you off, yank you out of the moment. And honestly, it can feel just as uncomfortable for them. You're already battling nerves. You don't need a staring contest to deal with as well. Instead, find a fixed point. A light, a wall, a speaker. Something just above the audience or to the side. And let that be the person that you're talking to. And then return to it whenever it is that you feel the fear rising. It keeps you grounded. And more importantly, it keeps you in the world of the monologue. It protects your focus. And it lets your nerves settle. You're still connected. You're just not rattled. Remember, you're allowed to make choices that support your confidence. And this is just one of them. Lesson 11. Ride the emotion. Okay, the monologue is happening. You're right into it and you're carrying it. But just as things begin to feel comfortable, that's the time a flicker of uncertainty might show up. You'll be thinking, am I doing too much? Not enough. Take a breath. You've already done the work. You've stepped up, stayed present, and committed. This is no longer about fixing things. It's about trusting yourself. Let the emotion move through you. Let the truth of the moment guide your choices. You don't need to push it or pull it back. Just stay with it. Stay grounded in the character. Let the work that you've already done support you. The performance is already alive. Your job now is to ride the wave. Stay open. And above all, enjoy it. You're not surviving it anymore. You're doing it. You're free-flowing the monologue. Lesson 12. Let the silence speak. When we are nervous, silence feels dangerous. Like if we don't fill every second, the whole thing might collapse. Here's where the fear might silently slip in. And we can recognize it because when it arrives, we instantly begin to rush. We speed up. We fight the urge to stay silent. We forget to pause. We feel the need just to get through it. But here's the truth. Slowness and control are not your enemies. They're your allies. Silence isn't empty. It's full. Full of breath, of thought, of character. A pause isn't a stumble. It's a choice. It gives weight to your words and time for the audience to catch their breath with you. So let your story breathe. Let your character think. Let the moment land. You are in control. And silence, used well, is the sign that you control the fear. Lesson 13. Finish strong and let it go. So the final lines are close now. And this is where something surprising can happen. You might feel a rush of pride or panic, or suddenly nothing at all. You've come so far, but right at the finish line, fear can whisper, what if I mess it up now? What if I ruin everything I've built? But know this, the end doesn't need to be perfect. It just has to be real. This is your final moment to connect, not to perform harder or push more, but to let the words land truthfully and with control, to let the last words of thought echo throughout the space and connect with the audience. And then feel the emotion. Let the silence after that last line be part of the story. Stay in that world for just a bit longer before stepping back into yourself and taking you and your character off stage. That pause, that breath, that is your reward and your moment to say, I did it. I beat the fear. So this is my advice to you. Take these words and hold them close. Let them guide you, not as rules, but as a safety net that you can refer back to whenever you need it. A reassuring whisper from someone who's been there saying, "You've got this." And if you're ready to learn more about acting, check out our video, 5 acting tips new actors can't afford to ignore. It's the perfect follow-on from here, and it might just take away some of your other fears. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and comment to me your biggest fear before a performance. Good luck with your monologue, and let me know if this helped.